Disney Marathon Weekend registration has become extremely competitive, and the stress of trying to secure a spot can trigger ADHD traits like urgency, emotional dysregulation, and FOMO. But this pressure doesn't only affect ADHD runners. The system itself creates a psychological pressure cooker that many non ADHD runners feel as well. This episode explores the human side of race registration.
Welcome back to Wired to Run, where our shoes hit the pavement and the dopamine hits just right. It's Tuesday morning. You've got 3 devices open, your laptop, your phone, and maybe your iPad. The Run Disney registration page is up. Your credit card is ready. Your heart rate is higher than it was during your last tempo run.
And suddenly you're asking yourself questions like, do I sign up for the 5K? The half? The marathon? Or do I just go completely off the rails and sign up for Goofy or Dopey?
And if you're an ADHD runner or even a non-ADHD runner, because let's be honest, this topic is pretty universal for all of us runners. Registration day can feel less like planning a race and more like a psychological stress test.
Today, we're talking 2027 Disney Marathon Weekend Race Registration, the FOMO, the panic, the dopamine, and why the fear of missing out can make us sign up for things we may or may not actually want to do.
Today, we're doing something a little different. Instead of just the 2 of us, we've invited some amazing fellow runners to talk about their experience with Run Disney registration. We wanted to get an ADHD and a non-ADHD perspective. I'd like to welcome to the podcast 3 of my amazing fellow Galloway Customized Training Program friends, Troy, Amy, and Stephanie. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Yay.
Hello.
Stephanie, you may remember from episode 5.
Yeah, I sound a little
Welcome back.
different now.
Yeah, you're not, yes,
I
you're
hope.
not stuffy.
Oh,
And we
I live stuffy.
That's true. Less stuffy for sure. And Troy is a huge cheerleader and fan of Wired to Run podcasts. Welcome, Troy. We're so excited you're here.
Hi, thanks, guys. Just Troy, and my last name is from Spring Hill.
We love Troy. He's one of the best holler hype folks, part of our Rise and Run podcast family that we're all a part of. And he's in the Galloway Customized Training Group. His holler hypes are epic, and he's always ends it with Troy from Spring Hill, Florida. We love that. So we're so excited you're here, and you represent our non-ADHD family on Wired to Run. And we've got Amy. She is part of our ADHD Wired to Run family. Amy, I'm so excited you're here. I've been wanting you to come on the show so badly for the past several months. So welcome to Wired to Run.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I wanted to mention what Holler Hype is. It is an app where you can hype up your friends, colleagues, run club group, things like that, or you can leave short messages within the app to those friends. The music will lower if you're listening to music or a podcast, and they'll hear your hype. I think is it 30 seconds? Is it usually 30 seconds? 30 seconds. And you'll hear their hype, and it just builds up your confidence. If you're having a hard time struggling on your run or your walk, it's the best thing ever. And then you can hype your friends. So you can't really respond if they're not online, it's always hard because when Troy sends his hypes and he's busy or he's on the road or whatever, and you get one of his hypes, you're like, oh, I wish I could reply back. But if you guys are both working out, you could say, hey, thank you so much for the hype. I'm hyping you up now. That's the best feeling. So I definitely check out Holler Hype because that's been instrumental to a lot of our runs and the success of our runs, helping us out. I don't know if you guys agree.
100%.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you're out there on those long days, especially by yourself in the heat of the summer, training for like a fall, like a Dopey or something like that, and like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you get that familiar voice in your head for 30 seconds. It's like having your own personal cheerleading squad on the side of the road. And we all know that feeling when you run down Main Street USA. It's like it's having your own little Main Street USA out there in the middle of nowhere, right? So that's
so
awesome.
True. That is the best.
I forget to, in true Stephanie fashion, I forget to start it a lot of times. And then I'm out at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And so then I'm listening to podcast or music, and then all of a sudden it just lowers down, and there's like this, I don't know, there's like this beep, or I don't know, a tone that I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And then I realize it's my headphones. I'm a little jumpy at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been chased by people before. I mean,
Oh,
in true ADHD fashion, I tend to forget until about halfway
yes.
through my run, and then it looks like I was doing an 8-mile run for an hour. Like, look how
Yeah.
fast I am. Oh, look at you. No one likes a bragger, Amy. I know.
There's been a time where I forgot to turn it off, and it's like 2 days later. Laura's still out there running.
No, that was the first time and I had to figure out how. I had to figure out how to stop it because I was getting annoyed seeing your name every time I logged in. Like, you've been running for 170 hours. I'm like, well, good job.
I didn't know how to turn it off. I didn't know when you hit the same button to turn it off, because it doesn't say to turn it off or turn it on like to start. It was pretty funny.
Holler Hype, Garmin.
Yeah, But Holler Hype's awesome. So, but I wanted to ask you guys, can you provide a little bit of background on how you got started with Run Disney? And Troy, you wanted to share as our non-ADHD guest of the show?
Yeah, sure. So, I'd heard about this running at Disney thing. I've always been a Disney fan, and I've been running since high school. So I thought, oh, wait a minute, here's an opportunity to do both things that I love: go to Disney and run. And so, on a whim, I signed up in 2015, and my first Run Disney experience was the last year that they had the Wine and Dine race weekend at night in 2015, and you ran through the Osborne Spectacle of Lights as you're going through Hollywood Studios. It was just a fantastic event. And then after you crossed that finish line, there was the after party. So you literally finished the race and kept your sweaty clothes on, race bib, and the whole 9 yards, and went right over to Epcot and just hung out with friends and family and went around World Showcase, riding some rides. And that kind of hooked me. So I kept going, and then I got this crazy notion that in 2022, I was going to sign up and run 48.6 magical miles. So my first Dopey was in 2022, and I haven't missed a year yet, knock on wood. We'll see if that trend continues after next week.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, you always talk about how jealous you are that people get to run through the Osborne lights.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was beautiful. I can't even imagine how that was.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Wow. What a way to kick off your Run Disney experience, hobby. That's amazing. Wow. That's so cool. Amy, how about you? How'd you get started with Run Disney?
I started back in 2010 was my first one. So in 2009, I was staring down the barrel of turning 40, and friends of mine had done the rock and roll out in Vegas, and I went to cheer them on and was like, this is amazing and electric and massive dopamine hit just being there. So I was like, maybe I should try that. Running doesn't cost anything. Little did I know what that was about to lead to. So I talked to some friends who were like, oh yeah, did you know you could run at Disney? And I said, no. So I trained for my first 5K, and that was the weekend of Marathon Weekend 2010. And if anybody knows anything about that weekend, we had snow in Orlando. It snowed at the very beginning of the 5K, and the marathon that weekend was a mess. It was freezing rain, sleet, snow, horrible wind. It was incredible. They said the water stops. You had to be really careful because they were all like iced over on the ground and everything. It was crazy. Last year I did the 15th anniversary of my first 5K down there, but in between there I've stopped running, I've picked it back up, and for the last 3 years I've been in customized and kind of doing it a bit more consistently. And then I set some pretty lofty goals for this upcoming season. So we'll see what happens.
You're going to hit all of those. I know you are, girl. You were determined. You've got a lot of passion.
If the registration gods are with me, then I will hit it. May not survive it, but I'll try and hit it.
You got this. How about you, Steph?
Yeah, what was the question?
How'd you get ADHD strikes again? How did you get involved in Run Disney? I knew you shared a little bit on episode 5, but how did you start out? Yeah.
Well, my husband was deployed. In fact, I don't even think were we married yet? We were married. So he was in Afghanistan. He was a helicopter pilot, and he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you want to run a 10-miler at Disney when I get back?" I'm like, sure. And I had found triathlons, and I was training religiously for triathlons. And he said, "Yeah, I'll train over here. You train at home, and then we'll see who's faster and who does it better." I'm like, "Okay, deal." Well, this was the 10-miler back in 2013, and that was at night, which was awesome. It was the Tower of Terror 10-miler at night, and I don't remember where we started, but to finish, we ran under the Sorcerer's Hat, and then the after party was at Hollywood Studios, and it was phenomenal. But I was doing Galloway, for a long time, and he did steady state running. And afterwards, while he did finish a little faster than I did, I will say he did, I could walk afterwards. And I could enjoy myself at the after party, and he couldn't. And so I still maintain I won.
That's right. You did.
This is true.
100%. Go with
And
it.
then since then, I've done 5 Dopies. I was trying to make a list, and I just don't even remember what and when. I did a perfect season from the 2023-2024 season. And yeah, it's all just kind of blending together at this point.
Wow. Oh my gosh, 5 Dopies. So 5 Dopies for you, Steph. Troy, you've done one Dopey?
5 Dopies. This year was my 5th one, 2026.
5 Dopey. 5 and 5. I've done 1, and I'm like, what did I do? I cannot imagine doing 5. That's
very addictive. It's almost like Dopey.
Here's when people are like, "Why are you going to do Dopey?" I'm like, well, there's going to be a day where I can't do it.
Today's not that day, right?
That's right. It's Carissa Galloway's motto.
And down the line, am I going to say, "Man, I regret running Dopey," or am I going to say, "Man, I really wish I did Dopey. I really wish I ran more. I really wish I made more opportunity, took more of the opportunities that were presented to me."
Mm-hmm. That is incredible. I admire and am so inspired by you guys. I can't even fathom 5. That's crazy to me.
But they're a year apart, so it's fine. You have time to recover.
Oh gosh, that's wild.
My neurospicy brain cannot handle that at all.
It's all those little races in between the Dopies that those catered training runs kind of help you get along. So I'm tipping my toe in the water of a marathon that's not Disney this year. I'm actually running Chicago in October. So that's my
Me
warm-up.
too.
Oh, cool. I'll see you in Chicago. Oh, awesome.
That's amazing, guys. Troy, I knew about you. I was so excited about that I did with your recovery and everything.
I did the charity route for Chicago because the lottery is just like nuts. So I got in through the Sandy Hook Promise. So that's where we'll be running for.
Yeah, Will and I are definitely going to be supporting you on that. That's one wonderful charity. Yeah, I'm so just blown away by the work that you do with that, Troy. And thank you for supporting such a wonderful cause.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how about your Run Disney journey?
Oh no, we just did the 2011 half, and we didn't do any races for a while. I did some local ones where we used to live, and then we moved here. I did the Princess 2017, then Hooked. We did Star Wars races, which were incredible. Bring them back, Disney, please. Oh gosh, I love those.
My kids will lose their mind.
I know. Please, please, please. And the princess races and all that. But too many to count how many of those in between. But Dopey kicked my butt. And I'm not planning on doing Dopey 2027. I'm going to be one of those people last minute to figure out what I want to register for, because I am thank you to my husband for Club Run Disney, but I only have one more day to decide what I want to do. And it's going to be very last minute in ADHD fashion to decide what I want to sign up for. And I'm very much on the fence. I know I want to do the 5K, kind of segueing into that about registration, how that's changed and what you guys are planning on. But I know I want to do 5K because I want to do that with one of my kids. Yeah, Stephanie said, holding up a card, you'll be stronger, more of a base. Thank you, Steph, for the cue card. She's holding.
Just thinking if we should get a poll going. Should Laura do the Dopey?
No, not in 2020. I would like to come back and do it in 2028 for the anniversary year. She's holding up another cue card, folks, in the video. Her little Zoom call. Dopey.
Nothing's better than Run Disney peer pressure. So I'm going to go in with her and say, Dopey.
They
all
know
all in Dopey. Might as well do it.
The vote is in Dopey. I would love to get faster. That's the thing. I want to be light on my feet. Maybe lose a few pounds. Get fitter, get stronger, get faster. Because I want to get off that course. I mean, that course was long. I mean, I want to be done sooner. And in that heat, I think I learned my lesson that I want to be a faster runner to get off the course in that heat. If I have another hot Dopey,
so if you read between the
marathon.
lines, she's saying that I made the last part of the last part of the race really incredibly hard and long. So
No.
I enjoyed your company
No,
too.
she helped me survive it. But I think if I was lighter on my feet and in better shape and stronger and, did speed work, because that's one thing I'll be tapping into Amy. Amy knows that I hate speed work and she loves it. And she's not a big long run girl, and I love my long runs. So I'll be leaning into her when it's time for speed work. So I think I'm going to be asking for Coach, gritting my teeth, asking him for speed work this year. So,
you got this.
Thanks, Amy. So that's what I'm planning. I might do the marathon and 5K only, or the half and 5K only. I'm not sure yet, but I like to know what everybody else is looking for in terms of registration day Tuesday. And before we get into that, I want to know your thoughts about the change with registration. Who wants to take the bait?
I suppose I will. Big surprise.
Oh no, buckle up.
Okay. So in years past, you would be able to not share your queue link, but you could pick up where you left off. So if you had to leave your computer, you had a special link where you could pick up on your phone. And and other people, would share the queue links if they had multiple devices open, and that's all fine and well. However, this new change, they have taken away the opportunity or the ability to copy down your very, very specific, individualized URL for your place in line, and you can't share it anymore. Now, I can see both sides, and that is, a superpower and a huge disadvantage to myself because I'm not wishy-washy, but regardless, as someone that didn't have Run Disney friends a while ago, if all of these Run Disney friends, all these factions, is that the right word I'm thinking of? All these like subgroups and cliques and clubs or whatever, and they're all getting together and they're all sharing QR codes and helping everybody register, then there's no space for the newbies that don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So as someone that did used to be a newbie, I completely get it.
I kind of feel some of what Stephanie's saying. I kind of echo some of those thoughts. It's tough if you're doing this on your own and you're not part of all those like friend groups and different running clubs. There's such a mass following of Disney. You could literally have a pretty good shot of getting into a race just by having the ability to share that unique of that Q code with friends, because you see it all along during race registrations in the past. People instant messaging people because their computer wasn't running as slow, or they're working off of a phone that wasn't going as fast, and so everybody's kind of helping each other out. But if you're out there all by yourself just trying to get on, it kind of tilts the playing field to the advantage of those that are socially connected with other people, and so with those support mechanisms around. So with this new way, you can get into the waiting room as early as like 9 o'clock, just a few minutes after 9 o'clock, and if and then they shuffle the deck, at 10, and you're in some random order. And then if you come in after 10, you're at the end of the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, from the way I understand it. And if you are technically savvy, like maybe you work in IT for a living, there is a way to dig into that URL and share very specific portions of it, and you're able to share a link. I'm not that guy because I know just
Yeah.
enough. I know just enough to be dangerous when it comes to computers and that kind of stuff. So, um, my only other workaround now is if I have friends that are registering and I'm unable to register, and I'm willing to share a credit card number, or they trust me enough to Zelle them the money after they hit send on their credit card. That's about the only other workaround I can come up with. And then if you don't get in, then it's a mad scramble to see who can grab the last of the charity bibs before they're all gone.
Yeah. So ultimately, with this new process, it's like it's evening the playing field almost. It's almost like a lottery in a way.
It is. It does. I would say if that was their intent, I would say mission accomplished to a certain extent with leveling the playing field.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Amy, your thoughts?
I actually didn't realize until right now that it had changed because, again, in true ADHD fashion, a friend of mine asked me to register her. So I did, because she's a teacher, couldn't get to a
Mhm.
computer to register herself. And so I did that, and I closed out, and I was like, huh, I wonder if I can get in. And I said, well, if the registration guides are with me, I can get back in, and then I guess I have to sign up. And that's what happened. I somehow, I don't know, accidentally signed up for the half wine and dine weekend. So I haven't sat down and sweated the new
Oh my gosh.
the new system, but I will be
You're very
sweating
lucky.
along with all the other oldies on Tuesday for sure.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, well, yeah, I definitely was surprised, Clorinda, you're kind of lucky in the way that you're not, you're able to register the week before. It was my birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day, Christmas gift all rolled into. I said, don't bother getting me anything for Mother's Day, birthday, whatever. Just get me to see if we could get it. And he did. He got me gold last year. Actually, you surprised me because I think one of our kids was in the hospital for some testing overnight, and I totally forgot about it. He was able to get me into gold, and I couldn't believe it first time. And that was like such a blessing because I'd been through so much with our kiddo being in the hospital and medical stuff and everything. And had that last year, and then just by the skin of my teeth was able to get platinum this year, like 1 minute before it sold out. So hanging on to that one. So I said,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
don't worry about my birthday, all that, Valentine's, whatever. Don't, that, because it is expensive. I'll rather have that than anything else, for as a gift. So that is a big thank you to my husband because I don't have to deal with the stress of that. But like my kids, if I want to do a race with my kids, my son wanted to do the 10K for Wine and Dine, and I wasn't able to get him into the 10K. And he was really disappointed because that was like one of his favorite themes. And I'm trying to get my little one into the 5K for marathon weekend. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get her into that one. So might get shut out for that one as well. So, I guess this is how things are going forward. So, and it is much, much easier for newbies to get in, which is a good thing because the newbies you just hit the button and register, where it was a lot more complicated in the past, where I think you guys remember you would have one link go live, let's just say the 10K go live. But if you didn't know and you were trying to register for the 5K as a new runner, you'd be waiting on that 5K link to go live.
And that's a true statement because people don't, yeah, they don't know unless you know,
but people didn't realize that.
right?
Even so, even if 10K was open, you click on 10K, even if you wanted the 5K, because when you get in, you still choose your race distance.
Now, we didn't go over this question, but might be a bit of a hot take. For those that have done Disney races, especially, let's say, Dopey, Goofy, um, who are or people who are trying to do perfect seasons, what are y'all's thoughts of possibly Disney giving priority to those people that have already done those races?
Hmm.
That's
I
interesting.
don't know about priority for the perfect season, because then Disney will start charging extra to have a perfect season medal. And then, you know, what is a perfect season? Is it just all of Walt Disney World races, which is what I was doing? Because when I decided to start the perfect season, Disneyland had not come back yet. Or is it all of Disneyland and Disney World? And Disneyland races are now gone again for the foreseeable future. Disneyland, Hong Kong is just started back up. So what would be a perfect season?
Mm.
So I think there are too many variables for hopefully too many variables for Disney to capitalize on yet another theme.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, though.
There
But I
are a lot of variables. If I think there's some merit in maybe exploring something similar to a cruise line, right? The more cruises you take, the more perks you get towards priority booking. So maybe they explore something along those lines. I don't know how that might work, but
Yeah.
certainly if you're loyal to the brand and you've got 5 dopies under your belt and you're registering for number 6 or 7 or 8, wherever the magic number is, then perhaps there's some loyalty weight in that lottery pool. I mean, or
Wow. Yeah. Troy,
because
that's an interesting take.
that's a great idea, Troy, because
Yeah.
I've thought of, yeah, I love what Disney does for all of their perfects, but
yes, absolutely.
they're not going to add another race weekend. They did with springtime, and they said they're not going to make this a perfect eligible. And for those that don't know, perfect is someone that starts when does a race or the entire weekend for a particular race the first time it is offered, and then they continue to do it every year after. And I think it's after year 10 they're recognized it. Or no, year 5. They're recognized as perfect, and they get a special bib that denotes that they're perfect. And so our coach Chris Twiggs, is a perfect marathoner. So I don't even remember when the marathon started. 92? I don't remember.
That's a good one. I don't remember.
94, I think. I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah.
Close.
Well, so he's been doing it since the very first Disney marathon, and he has not missed a marathon yet. But where was I in 92 or 94? I was in 2nd or 4th grade, respectively. I'm not going to run a marathon. So if there was a way to, like Troy said, like get some sort of loyalty recognition or something, because you've done, my 5 dopies are not consecutive, because my first one was in 2018, and then the next 4 have been consecutive. What year is this? 26?
It is 26. Yep.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Something like that. So I
Yeah.
don't remember when. You can do the math. So yeah, I think it would be awesome to recognize that too, because you can't. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
94 was right, by the way.
Oh, thanks for
yay!
checking, Troy. Ooh, Amy's doing
Wait,
a happy
that's
Do I
dance.
get a
Texas
medal
or
for that
right?
one?
Amy was right. Darn it.
Get a medal for that?
See, we should have played a game show next time.
Ooh.
Next time.
An
Next year's roundtable for
ADHD game
marathon
show
weekend.
would be ADHD game show would be hilarious.
I think Troy would win it hands down. He's the non-ADHD guy. He's going to get all the answers right.
Wait, what did I say?
94.
What was the question? What did I bet?
Oh my goodness.
Has anyone ever signed up for a race for fear of missing out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all of
Looking
them.
at you, honey.
All of them. I don't like running.
Why do you think I've done 5 Dopies?
It's the name of the game.
No, since I have like a community and family and Run Disney, I didn't do the Wine and Dine 5K because I was leaving I didn't do the whole weekend because I went to DC for Marine Corps, and it felt weird. I still went to the expo, so I got a little taste of it because I had to go pick on my brother Adam, but and say hi to Jeff Galloway, because I do that all the time. Yeah, it felt so odd. Seeing all the pictures come up, I'm like, man, I wish I was there. And I know the courses, and I'm just like, this again.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to make this turn. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of
I get it. Yeah. And I know FOMO is kind of like the name of the game with ADHD. Amy and I can definitely relate to that. I mean, that's our middle name, right, Amy?
It's the only reason why I do all these races.
Right?
100%.
And Troy, like, how does that impact you as a non-ADHD runner?
Well, I can tell you that Run Disney is the classic case, as you said, for FOMO. It's not just for those that may be dealing with ADHD, but the truth is, it's tied to like just human behavior and impulsivity, like scarcity. That's even a word, scarcity. Yes, the scarceness, right?
Scared.
The social belonging, the anticipation of regret. I mean, the scarcity kind of flips my brain from decision-making mode to survival mode on registration day.
100%.
It almost switches from, I don't want to run this race. It's not, do I want to run this race, I should say, but if I don't click right now, then the opportunity is going to disappear and I can't run this race. So I've got to go right now. The community just kind of amplifies the pressure.
Troy, do you feel that pressure, especially for Dopey this year?
I do. I mean, I'm at 5.0 with Dopey, and I want to keep that trend going. And marathon weekend is like my favorite weekend of the year. It's like my family week's vacation. I meet up with hundreds of my best friends from all around the globe through Rise and Run and through Galloway Customized and all the other little subsets out there. And so you hate to miss out. And I could just go and be a cheerleader, right? And cheer and be on the sidelines. But there's still something about seeing that guy go by saying, I really wish that was me. I really wish that was me. What did I do wrong? Did I not have enough browsers open?
And then you get that guilt and shame that we were talking about last week's episode. I know, Troy, you and I were talking about that, the RSD, rejection sensitive dysphoria, and kind of like getting down on that. It's going to be hard this time, getting shut out of certain races and everything, and that RSD feeling. And we're going to have to really work on that and flip the script on that, if we don't get into any of the races that we want.
Oh, absolutely. The emotional reaction tied to missing a race can be pretty tremendous for everybody involved.
Yeah.
I'm totally would love to run more world majors as an example, right? And it's just the lottery is so hard to get into, and you're so happy for people that get in, but there's that part of you that's like, man, I really wish that was me. I really wish that was me, man. Look at him go. That's awesome. But I really wish that was me as well.
Yeah.
So, because you hate to miss out. And wow, that experience this year is going to be great because it's an anniversary year for the half marathon. So I really got to be there. And Donald Duck's taking over the half marathon. So I can't miss that. And so
Right.
that will drive more people to the website.
That's right. He's supposed to be on all the medals, I think, except for Dopey, right? This year.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Steph, you were going to say something about that?
Well, yeah, Troy brought up a good point, which jogged my memory. Registration is a game, and so for the ADHD, that is the jackpot. So we're just like, oh, how can I trick the gate and work the system?
Yeah.
And then you get in and it's this dopamine hit and like, yeah, all right. Oh my God, what did I just do? So
Yeah, that was me on Wine and Dine sign up. Oops.
Oops.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, let me
regardless
tell
of
you
who
about the
you are,
time that I
mean,
accidentally signed
oh
my
my
friend
goodness.
up for the full marathon and she wanted the half.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Congratulations, you're doing your first full marathon.
Yep. True story.
Yeah, so it's interesting hearing everyone talk about registration. It almost changes from registering for a race to competing for the registration to a race. It's almost a
Oh, it's
competition.
100% like
Oh,
that.
it's 100%.
100%.
I have more anxiety registering for the race than I do actually running the race.
Yes.
The
Yeah, I
race
make
is
sure-
actually getting in the race.
Oh my gosh.
I make sure I have more Xanax with me when it's registration day.
Yeah.
My heart beats. I am more scared and my heart beats more. I was like that signing my friend up, like so like overwhelmed and nervous and like, oh my God, am I going to, all the feelings came rushing back. Like,
Because now you've got
nerves
someone else's
shot.
happiness depending on your success.
Oh no, they're like,
And then
And
it's
then
all,
30
oh my
minutes
God, it's all my
later-
fault.
And then 30 minutes later, the dopamine crash hits and you're like,
Yes.
oh crap, exactly. What did I do?
Yep.
And then, you forget the pain and you give yourself ideas of grandeur. And that's where my goals for this year came up. So, yeah.
And go ahead, Troy.
I was just saying, once you get in the queue, if everything's not planned out precisely perfectly, so you can cut and paste, and if you're not signed into your Run Disney dashboard, if you do that, all those fields will
Yes.
auto-populate. But if it doesn't, you got to stop and sign back in again, which takes more time.
Yeah.
And do like I did a few years ago. And my other half said she was done with running marathons. And I said, well, you should come and run the Goofy with me. And so I mistakenly thought that was the 5:10 and a half. Before I knew any better, so I signed her up for Goofy.
Oh my gosh, which is the half and full folks who don't know what Goofy is.
Yes. So
Whoa, did she do it? Did she do the
she
half
did
and-
it. She was happy
More
afterwards.
importantly, are you still married? Or
Oh yeah, well, yes.
partnered?
And so I talked her into doing Dopey, not in 26, but in 25. But she says she's one and done. But we know how that goes. We'll see about that.
Oh my
Right, Laura?
goodness. I
One and done?
Oh my god. I don't think I'll be one and done. I just think it's 2028 will be the year because of the anniversary of Dopey. Yeah,
Oh,
it's the
yes.
anniversary year. That's got to be a beautiful medal because I think it was
My first race was
Yep.
an anniversary. My first Dopey was an anniversary Dopey.
that medal. That was when Dopey had the diamonds for his eyes, right?
Yes.
If they brought that medal
Super
back and
cool.
did diamonds or rubies for his eyes, oh my goodness! Oh, that would be amazing. That is out of all the medals I've ever seen Disney come out with, that is the most beautiful medal I've ever seen. If they could do something like that again, oh, I'd be in heaven. So that would be amazing. So hopefully-
Being the non-Disney runner, when do they release the actual medal designs?
it's like a couple months before.
couple
Usually-
weeks,
Yeah,
couple
they-
weeks
Yeah.
before.
Okay,
Yeah,
so before
the springtime
registration.
just dropped like a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, they're
I'm running
it's exciting.
springtime. I don't even remember what the themes or when the actual darn weekend is.
They have really great medals for springtime this year. I'm excited about them.
Tell
They're
me you're
really fun.
ADHD without telling me you're ADHD. I'm gonna just show up and run.
I'm just-
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really faze me. I'm not in it for the themes.
Stephanie will start hearing the fireworks from her house and like oh, crap. I'm supposed to be at a start line.
And that's how
Running
I dead
over.
last
No.
started my second race.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
If that
Well,
happens, it can only happen for the 5K or the 10K because the roads close around me.
Yes.
And so I don't know how I would get to Epcot.
You would just run.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
Have you,
I have tried to run to Disney Springs, but Disney does not put sidewalks where they do not want people to walk. So
That's for
on
sure. That is
East Buena Vista Drive, where that is my turnaround point, and that is the road that goes into Disney Springs, there are no sidewalks.
it's intentional, probably. They don't
Yeah.
want any pedestrians getting hit.
I know. And that is both really frustrating and really genius.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Exactly.
Disney's last middle name.
True, right? But
Disney's are the master of environmental psychology.
right. I do want to say, in typical ADHD fashion, if folks have joined the podcast at this episode and have not listened to the prior episodes, Dopey is the 5K, 10K half full on consecutive days, 4 consecutive days. So when we talk about Dopey, it's the full, all 4 races. So just in case.
In 4
So that's what
days.
Troy and Stephanie are gunning for. And Amy, you told me you're going to be gunning for a perfect half season, right?
Yeah, the person who swore off half marathons.
Oh,
who
I just want to
loves
run
a
10Ks
great...
from now on, Amy.
Yes.
Yeah. Famous
Oh,
last
I've
words.
already heard it. So I was going to do one more half this year, and that was going to be marathon weekend. But when I, did it again and signed up for the half wine and dine, I was like, but I really want to run with some of my friends that are only running marathon weekend. And then one of my best friends who I used to run Disney races with, she's like, well, I really want to do another weekend, but I can't commit to anything but springtime. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do wine and dine and I really want to do marathon and we're going to do springtime, I
Throw a
guess I
princess
just
in there.
have to. Exactly. So the registration guides will once again deem me worthy or not of all half marathons, but I'm planning to do at least a perfect weekend season. But the plan is a half at those 3 and all 3 races at springtime because
That's amazing.
I'm crazy.
You are. We love you for it.
But we all
We
are.
do.
So
We do.
I have good company.
Yeah.
Oh no, now I've put it out on a podcast and so I have
Yeah,
to
you
do
can't.
it.
Hey, it's written.
Oh man, I did
You're
not think
committed.
this
Can't
through.
no take back.
You're committed now.
Laura's fault.
And that's what you're supposed to say, take 2.
No, we're not taking 2 on this one. No, this is
No.
not getting edited.
It is
out. No.
gold, man.
I'm already designing the shirt for the 10 miler for Springtime Surprise 2027 that says I blame Laura.
Yes.
Period.
Hey,
End
and I'm
of
going to be
sentence.
there. I will be cheering you on. I will be
I
there
have
cheering you on.
I have the master image of her podcast logo, so I can send it to you and so you can put it on there.
Oh. Yes, I will be
Wired to
putting it
run
on my back
podcasts.
so that as I cross the finish line, someone can take a picture of the back of me that says I blame Laura. Listen
Wired to
here.
run.
Yes.
You know I'll be there cheering you on. I'm so excited for you. We're going to
Well,
put
I
a big,
appreciate
beautiful
that.
bow on that season. I'm so
I
excited
hope
for you.
so.
Yes.
I hope so. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
why wouldn't you do this just before you turn 55?
Yes,
not?
girl.
course.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
You're doing laps around everybody who's sitting on the couch. I mean, it's so amazing. There's kids in their 20s that couldn't even dream about what you're doing. And I'm so excited and proud of you.
Can
That's
I point
awesome.
out
Dream
that
I
this
may be
self-talk
doing.
she never does to herself? And
I know.
we're all
Exactly.
notorious for it.
Yes.
And we'll just turn it around back on her at some point.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
When, oops, she signs up for Dopey.
I just fell into it. I don't know how.
Because it's like when you're going through the grocery store and the Oreos just happen to fall off the shelf, and
Where did they come
Hate it
from?
when that happens.
it was just
Right?
happenstance that your cart was right there.
Oh, it's like we entered into the ice cream shop near Troy's neighborhood. I don't know how we entered in the ice cream shop.
I swear, Mr. Officer, these are not my pants.
Right.
I'm just holding it for someone.
Oh gosh. Well, I blame Troy for the great food. He gave us some great recommendations when we were in his neck of the woods yesterday. For the, we're visiting some tourist attractions out his neck of the woods, and he gave us some great suggestions. So thank you, Troy.
Ooh, I'm glad
Oh,
to
that's
help.
fun.
Will, you had some good questions for our guests today.
Well, it's actually kind of funny that we're talking about kind of like peer pressure. I was going to just make this directly aimed at social media,
Oh,
but I
I
guess we
was
can also
expecting
just.
him to say Stephanie.
But I can also, yes, I can just say, with Stephanie, how does the pressure from said person or social media affect, somebody, the registration process, or even like just getting the word out for Run Disney? It's, for me, I kind of find it's almost like a double-edged sword where it's good because it lets people know about it, but at the same time, it could
It's more
actually make it more
competition.
difficult. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
We're
why,
not really
and that's
good at
why I'm not thrilled
gatekeeping.
about this new
We're not good at
registration
gatekeeping.
process, because now it's going to be harder for me. And that is so selfish, and I know.
I know we're not.
I
We're
fully
so excited
hear
about it. We
myself.
tell them registration's Tuesday. Yeah, we love it. We want to spread the word.
Dude, I thought registration was a few weeks ago, and I missed it.
Oh,
And so I had a slight panic attack. I'm not okay this month.
But do you guys really feel that pressure? I know, Stephanie, you're in it no matter what because of the community, because of our friends and family, our Run Disney family. But Amy, do you feel at all, or Troy, do you feel at all any peer pressure from social media at all to sign up, or does it come from within?
Oh, no, I definitely feel it. Mostly
yeah.
from Stephanie. No, I definitely feel it because I'm in Tennessee, so it's not like I have to like plan this out. Like I really have to think about the travel and lodging and how much money I'm planning on spending and if I'm okay going broke and whatnot. But yeah, I mean the social media from friends, yeah, I was like had such FOMO for so many reasons not being at Princess. And then, um, the just the pressure that Disney puts on you to say, look at these themes and like, oh yeah, they're okay. And then everyone starts talking about them. You're like, oh yeah, that would be such a great costume to wear, or how can I bound that? And yep, gonna need that. Oh no, I'll bet you the medals are gonna be amazing. I better do that one.
Yep.
What if they change the courses? Oh, that would be so cool to have a changed course and do that. It just plays into the FOMO
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, I
bad.
agree. The community definitely amplifies the pressure, and then you put more pressure on yourself. Like annual friend reunions, team meetups, family trips, running group milestones. I got in costumes, group photos, meetups, and then like Run Disney. There's like this great paradox of this awesome community. They're super welcoming, very positive. They celebrate each other. You celebrate each milestone, and that's why the FOMO is so real. Because whenever you're left behind, you're like, well, guess I'll cheer this year. Oh, I missed registration. Maybe there's a charity. The reaction isn't necessarily a weakness. It's just the flip side to a strong community bond, which is what was kind of what people maybe are dreading the most. So
You can't feel that exclusion from the party that is like all of your Run Disney friends being together and stuff like that. So I think that makes
your
sense.
news feeds become inundated with all the celebratory posts once the Run Disney registration closes, like at 11 a.m. or noon or whatever happens to be that particular time. So it can be overwhelming, folks, unless you have a good support mechanism, and for the other side of the paradox.
That's a great point, Troy, and it kind of segues into some of the strategies. And I actually wanted to touch on a couple of them real quick. Will and I came up with a couple of strategies, and I wanted to see if there were any that you guys could lend. But One of them was decide before registration day. Don't be indecisive like Laura, all the way up until, the last minute trying to figure out what you want to do. And you basically make a pros and cons list, like Coach Twiggs had said in one of our last calls is your yes list basically depending on what's still open, you might get what you get and you don't get upset kind of thing. It's a grab bag, based on how it is with registration this year. It might all be sold and you won't have only the 10K left and you decide whether you want to do the 10K or nothing. So that decision might already be made for you, but if it's not and it's still wide open, already have that pros and cons list made for you. So, and Will, you have an option too.
Or you oops and sign up for a half marathon you didn't mean to.
Right.
Exactly.
Have a plan.
Right.
One thing that you can do is if a race sells out, you can really allow yourself, 24 hours just to feel how you feel. Give yourself permission to step away from social media. It can take a toll on your mental health if you're just hearing people just talk about it. But then, if the race sells out, there's always another one. And one thing I was kind of thinking too, and again, we're kind of spoiled. But one thing that people can also do is, hey, maybe you didn't get into the race that you wanted. You really wanted the marathon. You didn't get the marathon. Maybe you got into the 10K. You know what? You can kind of maybe make a silver lining that I'll do the 10K. I'll still make it, a weekend vacation. I'll still be able to enjoy the parks. I'll still be able to see my friends, my family, and, and maybe not have as much pressure to perform.
And, being prepared with your pros and cons and managing disappointment. Also, check in with yourself and your own personal boundaries.
Yeah.
I sit and listen to everyone on our customized calls or on the podcast, and I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And maybe it's in the middle of I'm
Yeah.
having a really great run, and I'm like, you know what? Trust me, I am speaking from experience. There have been a number of times when I'm like, you know what? I could do this. And then I see one training run that has 17 miles on it, and I'm like, nope, checking out. And I'm like, I hear
Yeah.
people going on, yeah, coach, you got 26 on the schedule for me this week. And I'm like, what? I would literally be out from sun up to sundown to
Yeah.
try and get a long run. So I know my boundaries.
Mhm.
Didn't usually have boundaries, but as I've gotten older, I've learned some boundaries, and thank God that's one that I just know that I can't wrap my head around a full marathon. So I'm not even looking at Dopey. So when I go in, if a half marathon is going to be really, really tough on Tuesday, I'll be perfectly happy with a 10K.
You say that now, Amy, but I will tell you, I couldn't wrap my mind around a marathon a few years ago, and I thought there's no way in heck. Once you do it, you're like, oh, this ain't that bad. Believe me.
Yeah, hashtag run Disney friend peer pressure.
So for those that have wanted to sign up for a Run Disney race, but they're not able to, so they didn't get their first choice, their second choice, they got no choice. What would you say to those individuals?
Well, I can kick it off. There are other options out there with a lot of websites that that you can follow in real time. Run Disney Run, the Run Disney blog. There's some very specific areas that they'll occasionally open up registration, but you got to be quick. You got to be on it. Like it's only open for like a couple of minutes and it shuts back down again. There's also the charity bib option. Depending on how comfortable you are trying to raise money and finding a cause that you can get behind and that speaks to you and that motivates you and inspires you to raise funds. But let's say you just didn't get anything at all, and so that's what you're faced with dealing with. So the Run Disney community is still the one of the most welcoming and supportive groups out there. So come into that meetup, even though you're not running, as a supporter. bringing some extra cookies. Um, being on the sidelines with cowbell and with lots of clapping and signs and going to the meetups. It's part of feeling like you still belong, even though you're not running, because you're still a runner. You're just not running that particular race,
Mm.
and you're going to be running another race in the future. So it's almost like if you're coming back from an injury even and you're seeing everybody out there running, why can't I be out there running with those people right now? I'm going to run, not today, but I'll be running tomorrow or the next day. So um, you start thinking about, okay, what's going to be my next race? What's my next training goal, right? And you start setting those goals and staying active, staying connected, going out there running, going live on Holler Hype and letting people cheer you up on and out and keep it going, right? So it's not easy by any means. I would definitely struggle with that, and I would have to take a step back quite a bit. I don't know if I would take a break from social media or not, just for those reasons. Uh, just because you're kind of wired to look to others when you're making these kind of decisions, and if everybody else is doing it, it's got to be super important. But I'm not part of this time, so but you're still part of that huge community that is Run Disney. So
I love those suggestions, Troy. And so genuine too. You have such a good heart too. And I think that that's so important to be there for other runners with the holler hypes, with, cheering them on, bringing them, some carbs to keep your friends and other runners going. Cause you know what it's like to be on the other side of the fence, running and needing that support on the course and everything. So, I love those suggestions. Definitely, having Telegram is great. I've utilized Telegram to try to get into Princess. That some of those other blogs and things like that help you, show you when other races open if you're fast enough. Those are great options as well, like you mentioned.
That's how I accidentally ended up doing a perfect season, was Telegram.
Telegram.
And I kept seeing that I
There's a
was already
whole
signed
lot
up
of
for every.
accidentally signing up.
taking a trend.
Okay,
That's true.
all right. So what had happened was I was already signed up for Marathon Weekend for Dopey. This was Dopey 2024, and I was I don't think registration had happened yet for Princess or Springtime, but I was definitely planning on doing Springtime. Undecided about Princess, and I kept seeing the alerts go off, and I said, okay, well, I wanted to do a perfect season eventually. I said, well, I'm going to take this as a sign that if I can get through on a Telegram alert, then I guess that'll be the universe's way to tell me this will be my perfect season. And I got in, and I was like, well, I guess I'm doing Princess. And then so in 2023 is when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I still did wine and dine. So that went down as a, oh my God, Stephanie, what in the world? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I say I
It's funny.
accidentally started doing a perfect season.
It's easy to do. It's easy to fall into. I think that's, the strategy that Troy came up with is great. Also, another strategy is checking your why. Do I really want to do this race? Like, is this something I really want for myself? Or do I want the dopamine hit of signing up for this race? Do I want it for the bragging rights, or do I really want it deep down inside? And evaluating that, that door closes. There's always a reason for it. It could have been, an injury later on. I know personally for me, when I don't get into a race, there's always a reason for it. I don't know what it is. It just sometimes happens. It ends up being that there's a family event that weekend, or, I end up getting injured, or I end up getting really, really sick with a cold. Something always happens. So it's almost like everything just kind of aligns, and, there was a reason for it. So if I kind of spin it around, it's almost like another strategy is flipping the script. Having a backup plan, look for other races, perhaps even overseas. So let's just say, God forbid, you don't get into Dopey and it's something you really, really wanted. Maybe go for another big, big race overseas It doesn't have to be a world major, but maybe it's a big race. Maybe it's something in Ireland that you wanted to always do, or maybe it's a trail race. Who knows? Maybe you're training for something like an Ironman, anything, something really big, something epic that you've always wanted to try that would probably be at the caliber of like a Dopey race, having other options. And also, I think another strategy would be plan but detach. So you're not the race. That's not your identity. So maybe it's not this year, but it's next year. There are, again, a lot of charities. There's incredible folks that are in the running community that would be happy to support and cheer onto your goals and things like that. But remember that if you don't get into the race, it's not who you are. There's a lot of options for you. So try not to make it all about who you are as a person, because it's easy to do for someone who has ADHD. You kind of align with the runner rather than making it part of who you are. You kind of make it you, So how about Amy, do you have any strategies for if you don't get into the race that you want?
No, I've already kind of resigned myself to the fact that, like, again, if I don't get into the half, I'm going to try for the 10 because I absolutely love running 10s. I have, prayed to the running gods that, if this season that I have planned out is meant to be, it'll happen. And if not, I'm okay with it. Like, it is what it is. If I'm supposed to do all these races, and step out of my comfort zone, then I will. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And I've been blessed to be able to do so many Run Disney races over the last 15 years and to be able to want and be able to do any races, to still be athletic at 53, almost 54, it's just kind of cool. So yeah, there's a time in my life where I would have been like devastated. But what's kind of nice about having to sign up so early for these races is that you don't train your year away and then within a couple months have to sign up and then you don't get in.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that,
Excellent.
I didn't get in. I don't have to train, for that half. I have to just make sure I'm ready to go for the 10K. So
That's really,
I just
I never really thought of it like that. That's border level genius there, Amy.
which part? Because
That is.
the ADHD just kicked in and I forget what I said.
And true to form, the part of having to register so early so you don't get trained up for something you can't get into.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That came to me on a race once when I was like, I'm doing this half and I'm going to PR it and I'm going to crush it. And then I didn't get in. And I'm like, yeah, well, at least you didn't waste your whole week, your whole year training for that. Now you can train for what's actually in front of you. So,
Right.
yeah, perspective,
Right.
older and wiser.
Any final thoughts, Trey?
I think this has been great. It's a very interesting perspective to look at. It absolutely resonates 100%. When I heard your last episode, I was completely thinking the whole time, I totally can relate to all of these things. And definitely, Run Disney is the quintessential case for FOMO. So I think this has been great conversation. I enjoy being here, and I hope that everybody gets the races that they're hoping for on
Oh.
Tuesday morning.
Absolutely. Yes. It's if you're registering for marathon weekend on Tuesday morning, we wish you a smooth internet connection, a fast checkout, 0 website crashes, crossing fingers and toes. And if you get the race you wanted, that's amazing. If you don't, your running story isn't defined by one registration page. It's been amazing to have all 3 of you on the podcast tonight. I'm so lucky to have friends like you. Will is getting to know my Run Disney friends, which is so awesome. So I'm pulling him into the Run Disney fold. So whether he likes it or not, no,
We'll peer pressure him into a race soon enough.
He's been called in the tractor beam.
I try to caution spouses, if you two are in the same have the same interests and want to run the same races, then you've got to figure out childcare. So I used to
That's
want my
true.
husband to do triathlons with me.
Mhm.
I was like, "Come on, it'll be fun. It'll be great. You'll like it." And then I was like, "Wait, but when we have kids,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to switch off who's gonna do what race." And
Mhm.
then I was like, "But I want to do all the races." So
Sure.
I just immediately dropped it. And
Exactly.
running is my thing. He stays home with the kids,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I have my friend time.
Yeah, we're already coordinating that for some non-Run Disney races coming up, for some speed work. I'll be, planning some non-Disney stuff, and he's gonna be planning on some.
She may be imposing on my race
Not
weekends.
No, I promised I wouldn't. I promised I'd pick some that were not, conflicting with his schedule, so but
I will say that that's a good thing to think about too. Is no matter where you live, there's a lot of races,
Mhm.
and depending on where you
Yes.
live, especially up north, there's races almost all the time.
Mhm.
So there's always a way to get your fix when it comes
Mhm.
to running.
That's true. That's
That's a
true.
very good point. If you don't get into that Disney race, you pick another race you're going to get into and make that your proof of time race. So when you do
Oh,
get into
yeah.
Disney, you're in the front corral. You can stop for all the characters.
That's
Absolutely.
right. Exactly. And I really appreciate Troy's perspective as a non-ADHD runner. We do have listeners that are non-ADHD that have shared with us that they've had a lot of takeaways from our episodes that have helped them, some of the overwhelm and organization and things that we've talked about on our podcast, which has been really awesome that some of these themes have been universal for everybody. So I appreciate everything that you guys have contributed today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thanks
Appreciate it.
for having me, putting up with me.
No problem.
It was a lot of fun being here.
All right, have a good one, guys. Bye. We'd love to hear how your 2027 Run Disney Marathon Weekend registration experience went. Did you get the race you wanted? Did you panic sign up for Dopey? Or did the website test your patience like it does every year for us? Send us an email telling us your story. You can reach us at laceup@wiredtorun.com. We'd truly love to hear how it went for you.
So whether you're chasing Dopey or running your first Disney 5K, let's lace up, lock in, and let's go the distance.